Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. In an age of overthinking, paralysis by analysis, anxiety, frontal lobe maxing, retard is no longer really a slur. It's a compliment. Because the retard, he goes out there and gets stuff done. He's not stuck in the room, he's not on the computer, he's not just endlessly praying without making a decision. He just acts. He receives the inspiration and acts. He knows that he needs to pray in the morning, so he does it. He knows that he needs to go to the gym, so he does it. He doesn't spend time going over the program, reading the Summa Theologiae, trying to figure these things out. He simply does. Retardmaxxing plus Christ. God blesses his most retarded warriors. Now, even through that introduction, you'd already sensed that there's an element of truth, and this has been going on in the online world for quite a while now. There's a resurgence now with Elisha Long and then this other guy, Jakey, on Instagram, but it actually goes back a lot further than that, and I remember hearing it from one of my business mentors recently, but also back in the day, where he says that retarded people end up being a lot more successful than people who actually have a high IQ or are too intellectual, because the smart guy is overthinking. He thinks he needs to get everything ready. He's got to set up his website. He's got to have a 20-page business plan, the 5-year strategy. And in all of that time, when the smart guy was overthinking, the retard just went and started the business and he started getting clients. And he's going to figure out the marketing. He's going to figure out the LLC, all that when it comes later. But he's already putting money in the bank. He's already got cash flow. And really, when you apply this to the faith, it's the childlike faith that Christ talks about in Matthew 18:3. You must become as a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. That while there is that rich philosophical and theological background, the church has answers for every level of reality and inquiry. But at the end of the day, you just have to believe, and you just have to start praying every day, and you just have to go to Mass, get baptized, and receive the sacraments. And that life of grace will fuel you, and you'll grow in that, provided you're consistent and intentional with it. You don't need to, as I said, read the Summa Theologiae. You don't need to read all of these spiritual books. All of that stuff is helpful. But in a world of overthinking and anxiety and screens, you just need to start retardmaxing a bit. Faith without works is dead. Oh, I'm reading my Bible every day. I'm reading these books. I'm listening to these debates on YouTube. Where are your works? Where are your works of charity? Where is the positive fruit in your life where you're growing in virtue? Because if that's not there, well, that faith is meaningless. The faith without works is dead. There is no life in it. It doesn't say, spend all this time reading. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened. You just do it. And I want to talk about how this manifests more specifically in the spiritual life. And finally, we look at our biblical heroes. David, going against the giant. Got my sling, walk out, and you end up winning the battle. You don't overthink. All the other guys are overthinking. Oh, but he's too strong. Oh, but this, but that. I don't have the right weapon. Retard, walks up, wins the battle. St. Paul, road to Damascus. Gets blinded for 3 days. Instantly converts, becomes the most famous disciple of the ancient world. Half of the New Testament is St. Paul. Martyr, saint. Bang. Was not overthinking, was not studying. He just went out and started preaching the gospel. Peter, walking on water. There's that element of trust, of blind faith. All of these models, it's not like they didn't think at all, but it's about knowing that oftentimes we already know intellectually what we need to do, and we trick ourselves into thinking. But we kind of make ourselves believe that all of these other things have to be in place, this program, this writing, this degree, all of these things, when at the end of the day, it actually wasn't that difficult. And it's probably a trick of the devil. Think about scrupulosity as a sin, or as a vice, I guess, that you're just overthinking and you don't know if you're forgiven, you don't know if you've sinned. When the retard goes to confession and he's confessed and he knows there's no mortal sin in his soul, and he gets up and he just tries as hard as he can to not fall with that sin again, and he grows in the life of grace. Obedience. You don't need confirmation from a frickin' deer and a star and the full moon. You follow the commandments. If there's someone that tells you what to do, if there's a priest that tells you to do something, you just do it. You don't think that you know better. You don't think that God has shown you something different or some new path. Follow the commandments. Follow your spiritual father. Follow what it says in the Bible. Pray the rosary every day. Retardmaxxing. Prayer. You don't need the complex formulas. Now, of course, there are beautiful formulas like the Liturgy of the Hours and like the Rosary. You just sit down and pray it, and you focus on it, and you grow within that prayer. You do mental prayer. You pour your heart out to God. It's not that difficult, guys. Calling. Oh, I need to discern my vocation. I'm not quite sure if I'm called to that yet. I really need to discern this at the moment. Do you really? Are you answering the common vocation of growing in virtue? I couldn't care less if you're going to be a priest or married in 5 years. What are you doing today to become a saint? Did you get on your knees and pray? Did you go to daily mass when it was available? Did you treat your brother and sister with charity? Did you control what came out of your mouth, or were you swearing and talking about scandalous things? Did you train your body? Okay? It's not that complicated. Of course, we will pay attention and we will do our best to discern our calling, within prayer and talking to a spiritual father. But ultimately, 80 or 90% of your vocation as a future priest or father or husband is involved in what you do today. What time did you wake up? Did you say your prayers? Did you train? Are you developing yourself mentally? Are you developing your career skills? Are you developing your business? Are you working hard? Are you saving money? All of that, which is part of your vocation as a future married man, happened today. Happened right now. Happened with what you're going to do after you watch this video. So stop overthinking about your calling and vocation. Your calling and vocation is right now, right here, to become a saint. And finally, trust. What a beautiful gift trust in divine providence is. God's got it under control, bro. You don't need to worry. You don't need to overthink. You don't need to be anxious. Consider the lilies in the field, how they grow. They toil not, and neither do they spin. Yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory, the greatest king of the Old Testament, was not arrayed, was not dressed as one of these lilies in the field. And the grass, which today is and tomorrow was not, and it's cut down and cast into the furnace. How much more will God look after you? Not a single hair falls from your head without God knowing it. Okay, without not God allowing it or willing it, whether it be his active and permissive will. Trust in God. So I'm going to leave it there because of retardmaxxing. This isn't going to be a 30-minute video about how it works. It's really that simple. So retardmaxxing, a philosophy that you actually can apply into your life. It's a way of life, okay? And it's something that you get better at too. A lot of us are stuck in overthinking and anxiety. Man, that's a very common disorder at the moment. Paralysis by analysis. Optimization! I need my 9 hours of sleep, or it's going to be bad for me biologically. How about just wake up at 5 and say your prayers regardless of how much sleep you got? It's going to be much better for you to have prayed and aimed and do the number one most important thing, praying, than getting your 8.25 optimized hours of sleep and then missing prayer, all right? So start retardmaxxing. This is a biblical philosophy of trust in God and living a life of humility, of obedience, and trust in divine providence. God bless. Stay retarded.